My fellow Americans, your future and our country is on life support, critical condition. I need every patriot, whether they voted Republican, Democrat, Green, Constitutionalist. I don't care if you voted Libertarian, Independent, it does not matter. You need to hear me, and you need to hear me well. Whether you are in favor of the president or you oppose the president, we must unite to stop the president. Those of you who may not have heard the breaking news, Trump's budget calls for a $54 billion, $54 billion for the military, the Pentagon, a $54 billion defense budget. How he plans on getting that is taking money away from the programs that every American, Republican and Democrat, need and benefit from. Now, you may not believe me, but you, the most conservative American, will be harmed if this ridiculous amount is put to the military. So, we cannot afford to see the loss of Obamacare and 20 million Americans being thrown off health care and probably having the pre-existing condition back in there, meaning that they can be discriminated against. We cannot have the privatization of Social Security, the privatization of Medicare, the destruction and elimination of Medicaid, and possibly the destruction of all the above, Social Security, Medicaid, and, of course, Medicare. Those of you who would say the Republicans won't do it, Trump can't do it, those of you who would say can't, keep in mind that, unfortunately, America, for whatever reason, has given us a very far-right, one-party government. I know that there are officially still Democrats in the United States Senate. There are still Democrats officially in the House. But for all intents and purposes, there is a blank check in Washington. They control the judicial system. The Republicans control the judicial, legislative, and administrative. That means they control the House of Representatives, the United States Senate, soon to be the Supreme Court, and, of course, the office of the White House and President. What that means to every American, whether you are Republican or Democrat, Green or Libertarian, or anything else in between, it means your access to Social Security now and in the future will either be eliminated or dramatically reduced. Your access now and in the future to Medicare and Medicaid dramatically reduced. The eventual causing of illness and death to over 20 million Americans when the Affordable Health Care Act is destroyed. And untold benefits that you or your children or your senior citizen adults receive. Workplace conditions, food and drug, EPA, you name it. We are experiencing a nightmare worse than every horror movie in the United States and around the globe and in history. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but it is there. So you must now act. You must no longer play politics with your lives, because that is what you had done. You must not risk your very life over what you believe in and what you don't. You must and only protect your very life. This man in the Republican Party must be stopped at all costs. We will do it legally. We will do it ethically. We will do it peacefully. Most importantly, we will do it financially. So, here is what we will do. We will protest in every state capital, every county and city and township government. We will march during the weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on famous places like Washington, D.C. and Wall Street, when they can no longer do business during business hours because of the masses of the millions of Americans speaking out by walking down the street in the masses. When we do this, my fellow Americans, they will notice. When we shut down Wall Street for 1 to 5 days, and it shall become a reality. You, sir, you, ma'am, must volunteer your patriotic self and being to get there no matter what. Churches, synagogues, mosques, and all the rest must organize marches and march on Wall Street during the business days and during working hours. Yes, you're going to need to leave your jobs, quit your school for a day or two, but you must do it or there will be nothing left in America. You must march on the millions and millions of people going to Washington, D.C., surrounding the entire city so it cannot do business. Do it legally, do it peacefully, do it ethically and financially. Millions and millions of people walking through during the weekdays so that Congress can get no work done, and every one of our senators and our congressmen and the man in the White House will not even be able to get to work unless they are already there. We must do this, America, by legally, peacefully, ethically, and financial means. And we will just plain walk. It is not a legal protest. It is simply walking down the street in the millions. We must do this in every city, every county, every state. And we must do this more than once. We must do it during the weekday hours so that businesses cannot move a muscle. Will it hurt? Will it hurt you financially? It will hurt every one of us. But if we do not do it, the end of Social Security will come to pass. The end of Medicare will come to pass. The end of Medicaid and the Affordable Health Care Act, aka Obamacare, will come to pass. The money or the grants that you use to get your children to college will come to be gone. The help that you get, possibly if you're low income, with your children getting a school lunch and sometimes the only food they have access to, will be eradicated. We are on extreme life support and extreme critical condition. Make no mistake. You may be a Republican-loving conservative and everything they say you drink in. But how much longer will you drink it in when you have no access to your Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, or workman's comp should you get hurt? Or maybe unemployment. How much longer will you walk in extreme ignorance? And the Democrats are no godsend. When they had the opportunity to get the public option, when they had the opportunity to guarantee and protect all Americans in 2010, they did nothing. They only gave us the Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare, which was a very great start, but it was not enough. I liked what Bernie Sanders and I liked what Elizabeth Warren say. We need more real Democrats and real Americans, and we need moderate and liberal Republicans to stand up and say no to the end of Social Security, no to the end of Medicare, no to killing people by taking them off Obamacare and Medicaid. You must do this. I must do this. You must send postcard letters to Speaker of the House Paul Ryan directly to his house. You must call them, fax them, text them, write them, visit Washington, D.C., Harrisburg, or your local regional offices. But it will not be enough. We must stop business as usual in America. And we will. If you are a patriot, if you want to live, let us take it down to the very basics. If you want to live, if you want your older adults to live, your children to have an education, then America, I don't care how you voted, you will do this battle plan. There will be no question you will do this or you will not survive. Neither will I. We are on life support. Trump wants a $54 billion defense budget, and he wants to get it by cutting the very programs all Americans use to survive. So if you do nothing, Frank Republican, Jane Republican, Samantha Republican, if you do nothing, Green Party Sally, Tea Party Beatrice, or Libertarian Party Alfred, if you do not come together as one American family, forget the politics, forget the sexual orientations, or any of the other things that have been throwing us in the trash for the last 100 and some years, if we do not come together and actually become united in the United States, if we do not have unity, we will be gone. Trump's policies are going to harm and ultimately kill millions of Americans. Now, are you an American patriot, regardless of how you voted? Are you an American patriot? Or are you worse than Benedict Arnold? Would you turn your back on America and your very life? Or will you take action? Now, maybe you're an extremely impoverished person, so you can't get to, unless your church or synagogue or temple takes you. You can't get to the marches that must occur on Wall Street during business hours, during the weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Maybe you can't get to the Washington, D.C. marches in the millions of masses, women, men, and children marching from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. so that they cannot do business. Maybe you can't get to any of those things. Maybe you're just too afraid, and I understand that. But you can sign on to petitions. You can send a letter to Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan. You can take $50 out of your income every single week, lock it up for 365 days, and do not touch it for any reason. And you can permanently do this every pay period. And then at the end of the year, you can, after 365 total days, you can use 30% of the total, which will give you around $2,400 possibly. More if you put in more. You can take 30% in one bulk time, or you can take it every week after the original 365-day deposit matures. If you are a person on an extreme fixed budget, which is a broken budget, put away $1, $2, $3, $5, $10 every week and lock it away and throw away the key. Well, don't throw away the key because you need it in 365 days, but lock it away. You will call them. You will maybe get involved with a class action lawsuit against every member of Congress individually and, of course, against Donald Trump. This is America's only chance. You say that I am sounding the alarm and I am being an alarmist or a radical. I am a legal, ethical, peaceful American and a financial one. We will do this battle plan because we must. Otherwise, we will watch as senior citizens lose their Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security and ultimately die. We will watch children unnecessarily starve even more. We will watch you have a harder time getting your child or teenager through college. We will watch you not get unemployment or as much of it when you lose your job or if you are hurt. We must not allow Donald Trump and the Republican maniacs and the maniacal plan to succeed. You may be a lifelong Republican or a Tea Partier, but do you want to live in an America where you have no Social Security, no access to medicine, Medicare, Medicaid? Do you want our food source to be contaminated? Do you want more and more food poisonings to occur? Do you want unhealthy air quality? Come on, America. Are you a patriot or are you a traitor? Are you a patriot or are you a traitor? And in the words of John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you. Rather, ask what you can do for your country. Now is the time, whether you are 17 years old or 117 years old, legally, peacefully, ethically, and financially, fight back. Do not think that just because you are a Republican or a supporter or a Tea Partier that you will not be harmed from Trump's policies, because you will. Now, you can either be a traitor to America or you can be a patriot, but you cannot be both. Some of you will say, Al, your mouth is going, but what have you done? What have I done? I've signed over 30 petitions. I physically sent a postcard to Paul Ryan's home. Annette Mendel has sent a letter to Paul Ryan's home. I've made these videos. I've marshaled up the masses to the best of my ability, and I will continue until the millions and the millions and the millions legally, peacefully, ethically, and financially do the battle plan. I have spoken long-winded and I've been short, but I will not let you off the hook. Whether you're a Tea Partier or a Republican, a Democrat, a Green, a Constitutionalist, or a Libertarian, you are none of those things except a traitor unless you act. So take your $50 and lock it away. March in your city. Work to organize marches. And we want the millions. We want at least 1 to 4 million people to march on Wall Street during the weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. 2 or 3 times in 1 week. We want you to do that in L.A., New York, Seattle, Washington, Pittsburgh, PA, Philadelphia, New England, Cleveland, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, you name it. Gary, Indiana, you name it. In Selma, everywhere and anywhere. And I need you to take out that $50 every week. Or if you don't have that much, 2 or 3. But do it. Lock it away. Take it out of the economy. Now, you may ask yourself, at long last, is he going to tell us what will happen? Businesses will be stopped online and off. The economy will suffer a great and quick depression-style abomination. And all of us will have financial woes. But for a very, very, very short amount of time. A few weeks, maybe a month or 2. Because when we shut down Wall Street and we shut down Washington and we shut down Los Angeles, we shut down San Francisco, we shut down New York City, we shut down Wildwood, New Jersey, then Trump and the Republicans will yield. What's more, they will be forced to work with their Democratic counterparts, and we will finally see government of, by, and for the people, and you will end up getting all the money back that you lost, and it will become tenfold. You don't believe because you don't see the vision. We control Trump. We control the Democrats. We control the Republicans. We control the Walmarts of the world. But the illusion is that they have the power. Least you believe that. I will sell you a bridge in the ocean if you believe that. Who walks into the stores to buy the food? Who goes to the sporting events? Who walks into a Walmart or Macy's or Saks Fifth Avenue or wherever you go? Who buys the goods? Who buys the gas? Who buys everything? Who pays the bills for the electric, the cable, the wireless phone? You do. Your money, my money, buys everything that is bought online, buys everything that is bought offline, keeps the world going. You do. So now, take back $50. Don't spend it online. Don't spend it offline. Don't spend it for yourself. Don't spend it for your family. And I promise you, within a few days to a month, we will get an America and a world unlike we've ever had in history, where that hungry child matters, where that senior citizen or older adult matters, where you, the person that's been discriminated against for whatever reason, matters. And you will get raises because the employers and the corporations will come to realize we control them, they don't control us. You don't believe me? Who goes to McDonald's? Who goes to top of the line 5-star hotels and puts their money out? Or 5-star restaurants? Or who buys the Maseratis? Who buys the Hondas? Who buys the clunker just to get around? All of these things, whether you spend $1 or $100 million, you have the power. Now, I know what you may be thinking. The super wealthy have a lot more buying power than us, and they have more power as a result. Once again, that, sir, that ma'am, is an illusion. How did Donald Trump get his power? How did Bill Gates get his money? How did any corporation, including eBay, get their money? It all started and continues to come from you. You own the power. Now it's time to take the power back, even if it's just for a little while. But I say, even after they relent and we get the best country we ever had on the face of the earth times 1,000,000, even after all that, we only reduce our putting money away by $25. We still each American, I don't know what that was. Each American must still put $25 away permanently every paycheck for the rest of their life. Now you're probably thinking, well, that would still somewhat hurt the economy. It may not. But what it will guarantee is that Trump, the Republicans, and the corporations of the globe and in America will not be able to go back to their old ways because we stood down. We will never again stand down. We shall never again stand down. We will make sure that we have government of, by, and for the people, and that the people matter in America from now and for the rest of eternity. And we will also do this for the world. What I speak of sounds great and impossible. But America's very existence was once considered impossible. So I say again, are you a patriot? Or be you worse than Benedict Arnold from the Constitutional Army? Be you a patriot or be you a traitor?